what if Goten and Trunks join the Tournament of Power instead of Krillin and Android 18? Hello Dragon Ball fans, and today we're diving into an intriguing what-if scenario. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Goten and Trunks might be slightly weaker than Android 18 and Krillin when they're fused. But in the Tournament of Power, their growth potential could surpass Krillin and Android 18's rather easily. So much so, in fact, that they may start looking like the Universe 6 Saiyans, where they're just contesting Ultra Instinct and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken simply by tickling their backs. Consider Caulifla and Kale, for instance. During their battle with Goku, they amplified their power significantly just with Pitar fusion alone. They were able to contest Goku even in his Super Saiyan God form when they were outside of fusion, and push Goku to his absolute limit, turning Super Saiyan Blue and even Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken to verse Kefla when transformed to Pitar fusion, leading Goku to have to go Ultra Instinct since that did nothing, and then in the Ultra Instinct form have to go full power against Super Kefla to actually win. So some may believe that this may be some high writing by Toriyama. Goten and Trunks have the most potential out of all the Saiyans in Dragon Ball Z because they were able to turn Super Saiyan at the youngest age. Goten was able to turn Super Saiyan at the age of 7, and Trunks was able to turn Super Saiyan at the age of 8. Goten was even able to turn Super Saiyan before he can learn how to fly. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Toriyama was smoking that fat pack when making any of the Saiyans from Universe 6, but that's a conversation for another video. The fights that we're going to take into consideration when scaling these characters before placing them into the tournament is the fight they had against Android 18 in the Mighty Mask suit, claiming that it was very hard to fight in this suit, but they're still able to land some blows on 18 in the anime and surprise her in the manga. The second fight is a fight against Taguma in the Resurrection F movie. They were able to injure Taguma, something that even Piccolo wasn't able to do. And the last fight we're going to take into consideration is the fight against the Cell Juniors on 17's Island. The Cell Juniors were meant to protect 17's Island, so they were treating Trunks and Goten as intruders, so they were fighting them at full power. And the Cell Juniors are supposed to be relative in strength to Cell, meaning that Goten and Trunks are both perfect Cell level, if not relative, or if not more. And in this what-if scenario, we're actually to give Goten and Trunks both the same training that Krillin and Android 18 got by Goku, but this time we'll give Trunks Vegeta as a training partner. Now imagine Goten and Trunks entering the tournament. Their first battle would be against Chosa, just like with Krillin and 18. Trunks would start in a one-on-one fight based on his nature, with Goten joining in soon after. I believe that with their coordination, it would lead to a back-and-forth key blast exchange similar to the fight with Krillin and 18, ultimately defeating Chosa. Now, if you think that Chosa would be able to defeat Goten and Trunks, you do have to remember that Goten and Trunks are relative to Perfect Cell, if not stronger than Perfect Cell, so you would have to make the argument that Chosa could be 2 Perfect Cells, which really doesn't make any sense. So we just say that Goten and Trunks just slap Chosa. Now let's replace Krillin's embarrassing elimination by Frost with Master Roshi intervening. So instead of Krillin, it would be Goten, and Master Roshi would just intervene and save Goten with the Mafuba or something. Goten and Trunks wouldn't be fatigued yet, and they'll get hit by one of Super Rabrian's attacks, initiating a battle alongside Vegeta. Here, Goten and Trunks would fuse into Gotenks, enraged by seeing Vegeta getting bullied. Super Saiyan 2 Trunks amplified their fusion power, trapping Rabrian in a galactic donut before Vegeta finishes her off with a final flash. In the subsequent fight with Aniraza, the outcome would remain the same as in the anime. Goten and Trunks, having leveled up significantly, would provide support alongside the other Z fighters. By now, they would be on par with Android 18, contributing effectively against Aniraza. Despite their fatigue, Goten and Trunks would have gained considerable power boosts in this point in time. Trunks' power would be close to his future selves against Zamasu, while Goten would just be steadily increasing his power, slightly lower than Trunks' at this time. Goten witnesses Goku collapse after reaching Ultra Instinct against Jiren. While Goten and Trunks are trying to regain their energy from their fight with Ray Brienne, Goten would then save Goku from an ambush by Kale and Caulifla, much like Gohan saved Goku in the Saiyan saga against Raditz. Climatic battle begins with Goten fighting Kale and Caulifla solo, quickly overwhelming Kale with his new Zenkai boost he received from seeing Goku almost get one-shotted out of the tournament while being unconscious. After treating Kale like a fodder side character, Trunks joins in and together they face an enraged Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla after seeing Kale almost get murdered. Now, you have to realize in this point in time, Kale is obviously one of the strongest in this fight because she can go to legendary Super Saiyan form, but it's only with the encounter of Goku where she's actually able to control the form without using it in its berserker state. So just for the sake of the video, we're going to assume that she's only going to be able to control the form after seeing Caulifla get a beat down by both Goten and Trunks, which make the most sense for them to actually fuse into Kefla. Now, in this hypothetical situation, Trunks and Goten beat down on Caulifla until Kale gets up and turns into a legendary Super Saiyan and jumps into the fight to help. Now, we know that Trunks and Goten would be able to contest Caulifla in her Super Saiyan form because one, Caulifla is not getting any training from Goku to increase her power level, and Goku was also fighting Caulifla as a Super Saiyan 1, whereas in this situation, Goten and Trunks will be fighting Caulifla in their both enraged Super Saiyan states. So I do believe they'll be able to push Caulifla to the point where Kale would need to get up and turn into her controlled legendary Super Saiyan form. Now we know that both Caulifla and Kale push Goku to turn Super Saiyan God form. Now I have a few reasons why I think Goten and Trunks are going to be able to push Caulifla and Kale to that point where they'll need the Potara fusion. And my main reason is because Enraged Saiyans are just way too strong. A great example of this is when Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta was able to do more damage than a Super Saiyan 3 Goku against Beerus. Right after Beerus slapped Bulma in the face, he was able to land a couple hits on Beerus and even push him back ever so slightly. Even claiming that Beerus had to use 10% of his power, even though this is not true, it's still a great feat nonetheless. This shows that Vegeta was able to multiply his power even greater than 10 times that amount, reaching a higher level than Super Saiyan 3 kind of just casually. In this what if scenario, both Goten and Trunks are enraged Saiyans after both seeing their fathers get injured or bullied in a type of way. So they both reached enraged Saiyan state, whether that be Super Saiyan 2 Saiyan state for Goten and or Trunks. They're both in an enraged Super Saiyan state. Resuming to the battle, Kale and Caulifla actually do overpower Trunks and Goten in this battle, forcing them to then use their fusion dance. They actually successfully get their fusion dance first try because, let's be honest, they're not going to be able to beat them with that fusion form. Gotenks will immediately then turn Super Saiyan 2 and bully Kale and Caulifla similarly to how Super Saiyan God Goku bullied Kale and Caulifla, forcing them to use their Potara fusion. When Gotenks realizes that he's not strong enough to verse Kefla after a few exchanges, he then turns into Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which then Kefla transforms into Super Kefla and they have another clash. The result of the clash knocks both Goten and Trunks out of their fusion form and lies them on the floor similar to how Goku was lying down after being knocked out of his Kaioken blue form. Now at this point, even though most of this is pretty far-fetched, it actually does make sense that they'll be able to reach a form that's greater than Kefla and on the same level as Ultra Instinct. If you do put the argument in that Goku was fatigued at this point, so it was similar to the battle with Krillin when he was holding back some energy, or he was forced to hold back some energy where he used Super Saiyan Blue to fight Krillin when obviously Krillin would die realistically, if he actually did fight against Super Saiyan Blue, but he was able to suppress its power to use it against him. So in that similar situation, you could argue, and I do argue, that Goku's power was suppressed after fighting Jiren and using Ultra Instinct the first time, that when he used it the second time, it wasn't to its actual full degree like it was against Jiren. But we all know that Ultra Instinct actually has a higher level, and right now it's not mastered, and he later masters it later on in the fight with Jiren. So we do know that it has more potential. So I do believe it's possible that he was using a weaker variant. But we all know that Kale and Caulifla were created by Toriyama to appeal to women's power. They often do it in movies, especially the new Marvel movies, or should I say Disney movies. Anyway, the form I think Gotenks is going to turn into to combat Kefla is going to be a Super Saiyan Rage 3 form, similar to the future Trunks transformation against Zamasu. Now, I'm only basing this theory solely on the fact that future Trunks went Super Saiyan Rage against Zamasu, therefore Trunks should be able to access Super Saiyan Rage, and that should play into his fusion as Gotenks. Another theory I would like to mention is it's possible that Goten would be able to turn into Super Saiyan Rage, just like how Vegeta went Super Saiyan God after seeing Goku turn Super Saiyan God. And you could argue that Super Saiyan Rage is like a god form. It is possible that maybe since Trunks uncovers Super Saiyan Rage at one point, that Goten may uncover Super Saiyan Rage as well, and they'll both use it in their fusion. There is also speculation that future Gotenks was able to contest with Cell Max if they actually fused properly instead of turning into the fat version. When they were in the fat version, they got volleyballed into Cell Max and then kind of split his head open, which actually made them find out Cell Max's weak point. If you believe that it was the help of the other fighters that caused that crack in Cell Max, it has to be someone that's durable enough to even cause that sort of crack in the first place, and durability usually does equate to strength. So I mean, like, a small example of this would be if they just volleyballed Videl into Cell Max, what would happen? Obviously Videl would just be obliterated and just die. So it's not insane to believe that Goten and Trunks receiving similar power boosts could surpass Kefla and match Ultra Instinct at that time. In the end, these two Saiyan Prodigy sons of the most powerful characters in the series would unlock a form far surpassing Super Kefla, ultimately dominating her with my newly created move, the Enraged Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack. And there you have it. Goten and Trunks joining the Tournament of Power could lead to some truly epic battles and unexpected power-ups. What do you think? Could these young Saiyans turn the tide of the tournament? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Dragon Ball content.